town just like a sent messenger. In the south, and I'm feeling like a pimp. You a simp, I don't feel bad for you. I ain't sympathetic.
Hello, and welcome to the 57th episode of the Simp to Pimp podcast. I'm your host, Max, and today I'm with a guest, Raj. Raj,
What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How you been?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you for having me on.
Absolutely, dude. No problem. So, we met through Twitter, right?
Yep.
We're in Family Opulence together. How long you been in Twitter?
I started in December 2020.
December 2020?
Yeah.
Almost coming up on a year right now?
Yeah. Coming up on a year.
How do you think it's affected your life?
It's been awesome, honestly. So I started while I was still in college. So I started in the winter break before my senior spring semester. And then the first couple months, I sort of just saw an opportunity there. And I was like, all right, it was more like a hobby and just like see where it goes. And then I was posting stuff every day, had a couple of free ebooks, try to grow my email list. Then I started training people for free. And then since I got my first client in March, I saw it as like a real possibility to like make this like my full-time job.
Training people for fitness?
Yeah.
Okay. How long you been working out for? So one of my friends, when he started right around the end of high school because me and him were super skinny. But I was a little bit bigger than him. And then he just outgrew me. He was like, I see him like, towards the end of college, like junior year. And he is just like way more physically in shape than me. And I'm like, oh, damn, I got caught in one of those. So when did you start?
I started like 16 years old, but like I did all the classic rookie mistakes my first couple of years. I like skipped legs, didn't really track my workouts. My nutrition was pretty poor. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then like over time, and even then, like, cause like newbie gains, right? I still saw some results, but then over time I started to learn more about it, be more interested in it, surround myself with people who have had like decades of experience, learn more,
Right.
did like trial and error. And then slowly over time, I felt like I got the hang of it.
Studying and everything.
Yeah.
You're doing the whole thing. That is like, that's almost everybody's story. For me, it was like, I see somebody, the thing was my dad was super into it. My dad, like, so even as a super young kid, my dad was like, he tried out for Mr. Florida, which is like one of the states over here in America. And we just like, he was like working out all the time. He wakes up, does like 5 supplements of magnesium, zinc, all the different stuff. I forgot what else he did. He had so many supplements. And then I was just like, at the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is exhausting. Like, I think I'll be fine. And then I see all my friends getting way bigger than me, getting huge, just like, all the girls are looking at them now. And I'm like, oh my God, now I got to fucking start working out again. So I'm catching up right now to everybody. That's my big thing. But I've been cooking for a while. I think that's one of the good things I was doing was diet.
For sure. I think when you like are familiar with cooking, you're used to it, been doing it for a while, it makes sticking to your diet so much easier because you actually enjoy it, so you don't feel the need to like cheat on it. If you don't know how to cook, your meals are either going to taste really bad or you're just going to be ordering out a lot. So like either way, it's not ideal. And
that's just a bad cycle right there, right? You just start, you're eating poorly, or you're eating out a lot, and you're not filling that loop, that circuit. If you're eating like your food's not tasting that good, you're not going to want to cook and eat really good food again. And that's like,
exactly.
Yeah, that can
I
be
think
good.
also it can be learned pretty easily nowadays. Like you have like YouTube and like a bunch of free resources. Like anyone who says like they don't know how to cook, I think that's just a terrible excuse. Like you can easily learn, and it's like you could take a class like standard bodybuilding meal, right, that tastes terrible, chicken, broccoli, rice, and then with a couple like little techniques and some seasonings, you can like make it great.
Absolutely, dude. And like what's great about that is too, you can actually just cook it, and then you have the seasoning for each day. Like you can change the seasoning for the day if you want to do something like that. Like that's just a simple little trick right there. That's not even like, not even that big of a deal. So growing up, did you play tennis? I see a lot of Federer. I see some
Yeah. So I played tennis since I was like 7 years old, and then I played in college for 4 years. I went to a tennis academy my junior and senior year to get recruited to play, and then that was actually one of the reasons I started working out, because like I started out when I was like 16, like a really skinny kid, right? Like so also like I wanted to just like look better, feel better,
Yeah.
but like
But
to
you're
get more
athletic.
power,
Yeah.
like I was like like hand-eye coordination pretty good, but
Mhm.
are always like very slow and weak. So like had
Uh,
to like put in a lot of work to see little results in that department. But the funny thing is I decided to start lifting, took it pretty seriously for a few months. And then I was doing a drill like on court, and then my coach was like, you have to start lifting, like you don't get any power in your shots. And I was like, bro,
damn.
I've been lifting for like 3 months. So then I used that to like motivate me to keep going.
Motivate. That's freaking key. Those people that tell you like it stings at first, you know, that kind of truth and everything, but it's also like that is exactly what I need to hear, and I need to replay that in my head if I'm gonna like get this rep in, or if I'm gonna get this way to go.
100%.
So yeah, I like keeping those people around. I still keep up with my coaches. I was a big soccer guy. I played soccer a lot,
Okay.
and
I actually
so I just
played soccer as well, but I was no good. I played just for like a year. And when I was probably like 13, 14, it was actually my tennis coaches that told me, like, your footwork's horrible. You're real slow. Go play some soccer. It'll make you look better. I was like, okay, say less.
okay, say less. Thanks, man. Damn, your tennis coaches are brutal, bro. Damn.
Yeah. It's cool though. I rather to keep those types of people around, like you said, like they tell you what you like need to hear, not what you want to hear. If they would have said, "Oh, you're great, buddy. Like you're gonna do amazing. Like don't do anything more," then I'd be complacent and I wouldn't have made the team that I made, right? But if when they told me, it like probably stung for a bit. I might have even thought they were just being too harsh. But then in hindsight, like that was exactly what I needed to hear.
Absolutely, dude. You're right. You are right. So with your clients that you were getting, how did you end up coming in with that first client, or what what's your brand? What's your brand? Let's go with that. Raj, what's your
What's
brand?
my brand? Yeah, so my brand is basically, my goal is to try to positively impact as many people as I can through transforming their bodies, which in turn transforms the rest of their lives. Because like I've made my own physical transformation. I was 16, right, 130 pounds, and now I'm 22, to 185 pounds, right? And like most of that's like lean muscle. And I've seen not only like, sure, like I built muscle, I look better, but it's more about like the confidence, the mental clarity, the belief, the patience, like all these skills you
Oh yeah,
gain throughout that process. So
it's
it's like
all connected, man. I totally
exactly.
feel that. Yeah.
And like when I see like my clients who I've been working with for a couple months, like they like track their weight every day, right? So obviously when they hit a new low weigh-in, because most of their goals are fat loss, I'm like, yo, great job with the low weigh-in. But the things that really get me like super pumped is when they tell me like, oh, I just feel a lot more confident, or my uncle said I look like a lot stronger, like this is great, or I got a promotion, like all these little things. It all
Yeah.
started with them transforming their bodies.
Mm-hmm. And that was all. Well, you don't need to take all the credit for it, but that was like part of you, like you. That was your intention the entire time, right? To help.
100%.
Exactly. Yes. And
100%.
that's great that's great that you're on the front lines of that.
Yeah.
So one of the issues that, like, you know, I keep seeing, especially here, like in America, is this fucking obesity problem
Yeah.
that we keep having. And like, you know, it seems like it's growing. We've been hearing about this since like 2006, you know, Super Size Me. I don't know. There's like a bunch of movies about it too.
Yeah, I
Everything,
saw that one.
like, yeah, we've all seen these movies, and there's doesn't seem to be any change still. Like, it just seems like the way your approach seems like the best option right now. It's like, you know, go one by one. We're going to tackle these people. We're going to tell them, hey, this is how you can do it. This will absolutely help your life, and you're seeing results that way. And it seems like word of mouth is like the only way, because the internet, people just they just see a screen. They don't do any changes after that. There's no reciprocity or no learning mechanism from it. It seems like, I don't know. I'm just like, what do you think? What do you think is a good strategy?
I think like you said, like the one-on-one, like where you have a coach, where you pay for a service, where it keeps you accountable. That's got to be the most effective on an individual basis. but that's not really practical on like a nationwide or a global scale. So I think there's so many reasons why obesity is a growing problem around the world and especially in the U.S. But I mean, there's many key reasons. I feel like first off, there is just a lot of misinformation starting from a young age. So an example of this would be the food pyramid. The food pyramid's completely out of whack, and 99% of people don't know it. They think this
Yeah,
is normal. They think you should be scared of protein. They think red meat's bad, eggs are bad. And the funny thing is, these like health ministers who are like preaching these health rules, they're like 400 pounds morbidly obese and telling you how to eat.
exactly.
And it's just a messed up system because from a young age, you have the wrong information. Your teachers don't know any better. You're presented with all this misinformation. And then the people who are actually making rules, making guidelines that people who don't dig deeper, they don't know any better, they're not credible people. So I think a lot of misinformation in the industry as well. And I think accessibility. So fast food like McDonald's is a lot cheaper than, organic, grass-fed, lean meats, vegetables. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier to access. There's a McDonald's every like mile, right? Super easy to get. And also it's also the instant gratification versus like delayed gratification, like mindset thing. You eat a McDonald's burger, in the moment, you feel great,
Yeah,
right? You're like, wow, this tastes amazing. You feel great. But then you like cook your own meal, like some eggs or I don't know, some chicken rice or whatever. That's
take
like
longer.
one, it takes time to cook it, to buy it. And two, when you're eating it, you're like, this is like okay. It's not bad, depending on how good of a cook you are.
Right.
But you like at the time you obviously want to have McDonald's. So I think there's so many reasons for it. And also it's like I think it all comes down to authorities, lack of information and lack of like making it a priority. Like you see with COVID, right? That was clearly a priority for them. So they took it under their control and enforced all this stuff.
Right.
Imagine if they had that urgency with solving the obesity pandemic. It'd be like the obesity rates would plummet.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just like one, they don't know any better, and two, it's not important to them. And you could go into like the deeper conspiracy theory, like ulterior motives, like why is it not
Why are
important to them?
they so incompetent or something like that? Yeah.
I would say it all stems from power. So it's like obese people, one, are the biggest consumers. They purchase the most. They rely the most on these big industries like big pharma, and they're also the most obedient and less likely to resist authorities. So you could look at this problem from so many different angles, which is why it's such a hard problem to tackle.
Yeah, that is pretty tough. So takeaways from that is the truth or the trust. There's so much trust in these big corporations, these big governments that have this power and control already. And the individual, the people that are obedient to this, just sort of take it for the word. And there's no back checking. There's no fact checks on this stuff. So I find that as the same kind of issue. It's very frustrating to see, like, my country or just just the world, just this whole globe that we're all standing on, to kind of, take this authority that is just not as trustworthy, not as competent as they should be. And so
100%.
yeah, it's just frustrating to see the people. It's the people that are letting this happen. Like I think we outnumber, these authoritarian figures. Not really authority. I mean, they are, demanding a lot from us, but it's very tough to just see it firsthand with my own eyes, with so many people
100%.
falling with the same trap.
I think it just goes. It's one of the subset of problems of societal programming. It's like you look at the average person who is in debt, who is overweight, who's unhealthy, who is probably depressed, and then you see why is the average person this way, and then you could trace it all back to things that are rooted deeply in the system. So it is pretty troubling, but I think it all starts with self-awareness from the individuals and spreading, having open discussions where it's you don't get triggered or offended if someone says something you might disagree with you. Like actually like listen, be like maybe he's onto something, and just always questioning authorities because just because they're a health minister or they are someone with a name, that doesn't mean one that they know everything that they're talking about, and doesn't mean two that they have your best interests as motives.
100%. Absolutely. I totally agree with everything you're saying right now. Honestly, you're killing this. So let's go back to Twitter. You started it in December. When did you get your first client?
I got my first client in, I believe it was February, end of February.
Wow. So 3 months in, there's already people tracking you, already people saying, oh my gosh, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm ready.
Well, I actually got, I got my first client when I think I hit like 300 followers or something. And then I did like I will train 3 people for free, like just DM me with your reasons, right?
Promo, yeah.
Yeah, and then I honestly thought there'd be like 10 people and I'd have to choose. There was exactly 3 people. And then one of them was like an older dude who just wasn't really committed at the time. Another one was a younger dude, like 16, and his mom didn't let him like pay for the service when it was over. And then the third guy was like 23, so like a year older than me, and he was a perfect fit. Like we worked together for 3 months after that, after the free month was up. And we're still in touch. He gave me a great testimonial. He's a good guy.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's all you really need is just one. But like,
yeah.
But it's just like, getting that. I feel like the first one is the hardest, but you had a pretty good plan coming in with the promo, and then you just find somebody, and then it's the perfect fit. They give you the testimonial. You can show that, and then now you're stacking testimonials. I'm sure you got you're well into a year now, and you're just doing life. How kind of so money online? Do you use, or what's your method with that?
What do you mean? What's my method with that?
So when you book how is it all through the DMs, or do you like call them? Do you
okay, cool. So it's mainly like 99% of my clients are through Twitter, and every time I have a tweet that does like pretty well, there's an automatic plugin, which is like, and it changes. We have like a swipe file depending on our prospects, like wants, desires, that sort of stuff. So an example would be like, so let's say a tweet does well, it automatically plugs. By the way, I'm looking for 3 more people who want to transform their body and be the leaders of their family. If you're interested, DM me, and then there's like the DM button. And then if like a tweet gets a couple hundred likes, I probably get maybe 4 DMs, 4 or 5 DMs, and then out of those, like maybe 1 will close. Because a lot of times they just, to be fair, more than half of my total leads just aren't the right leads. Like they're not high quality leads. They're not serious about coaching, and they might maybe think it's like way cheaper than it actually is, or maybe it's a free thing because I'm just a young guy. I don't know. Yeah. But the ones that are like qualified, we get in the DMs, figure out their goals, if we're a good fit, and if they are, then we hop on a call. And then from there, if it goes well, we start working together.
That's perfect. Yeah, a lot of that is the other thing. Just on the internet, there's people that are not serious, and then when they find somebody that's serious, they're like, "Oh shit, this is like fucking really serious." I need to I need to recheck myself a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for them, it's like they see like a CTA, and it's like they have nothing to lose, right? They're like, "Oh, maybe it's free, or maybe it's like $5 a month, or something like that, or maybe he's looking for a testimonial, or." I don't know what they're thinking, but like I drop is the minimum price is this, like, is this in your budget, just to like filter out leads who aren't serious.
Yeah, right at the beginning, you kind of do that just to be like.
Yeah, actually, I say what your goals are first, and then that's my second message.
Okay, that's pretty good. There are, in my experience, I mean, I'm not a huge sales guy right now. I'm just taking a class right now. I'm taking a bunch of notes on my board about this class, but basically you just kind of want to know, you kind of want to get them a little bit more personal. Obviously that is a personal question. If they're opening up about like their goals and stuff, that's probably fine. But for me, like, I guess we just do, it's like goals, where you from, what's your vision, get them like super juiced up in this emotional state, like, oh, this is my vision fuel. And then you kind of just say like, so these are the prices. Like I don't know, but it's also in the DM, so it's different. When it's on a call, it's like that. Then you can kind of do that. But yeah, I guess that makes more sense. You're doing
Of course, yeah. The calls are like way higher percentages. Like if I had all the time in the world, I'd put everyone straight to a call, or I would just put like a link to my Calendly and just have anyone book a call. But at that point, it's like it's how much we value like time. It's like if I were to allow anyone to just book a call, I'd be like taking calls all day, and I'd close one every 10. You know what I mean? So it just wouldn't be worth
Yeah.
it. And it's like, and people would also think like I did this at the start, but like when I was at like a couple hundred followers, so like it was fine. But people a lot of times they just think it's like a free consultation session or just want free advice. And I did do those at the start for like testimonials, but at this point, I just don't have the. It's just not a smart move for me.
Right. Yeah, especially if you want to get serious with it and you're trying, like, you know, you want this to be your life, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't need like fucking you already found your like your little sandwich you want to bite into. You don't want to like,
Yeah.
You don't want to waste your time, especially if you're already training so many clients. I don't need 10 phone calls a day. Like that's just not gonna, yeah. So I don't have the Zoom, like I don't have the full thing. What is that called? Zoom Plus or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So that might cut out on us at some point. I just wanted you to be aware of that. It wasn't me. I'm not hanging up on you or something.
Okay. I'll get. I think we got a good amount of time left.
Okay, yeah. I'm just trying to find that. It looks like, yeah, we got plenty of time. Jeez. Okay. So with that ultimate goal of like, oh, this is what I want to do, it's like you need freedom to be able to pursue this. What kind of what is like how have you been tackling that? How do you get into finding the freedom, or like how did you get to this point?
I'm not really sure I understand your question, man.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. When you get, so you have this goal you want to tackle. You want to be a personal trainer for high-end clients, and you want this to be like your life. You're pretty certain about this. Do you want, like, how did you come up with that? How did you find that?
Okay, got you. So it all started like obviously I've been like lifting for a while. So like before I even found this, I was counting at this journey, right?
Mhm.
But I really like got passionate about it. Like I genuinely like enjoy training. I love cooking, love like watching YouTube videos, learning more about this stuff. And then like probably like last year, maybe like a year and a half ago. Yeah, probably like a year and a half ago, my friends would start coming up to me for like advice. Like, yo, I see like build some muscle, blah blah blah. Like, can you help me out? Like, what should I be eating? Like, what is this a good workout split? Ask me all these questions, and I would love talking to them about fitness, designing them a simple workout split. And I also like felt that I was pretty good at like clarifying and delivering the essentials and the principles of whatever their goal was, whether it's to build muscle, lose fat in a way that they could easily digest it. So they were seeing good results. And not only was it cool to see them like put in work in the gym, but it was awesome to see them like gain confidence. Like I'd see them in like 2 months, they're like walking a little different. They're like chins up. I'm like, okay, I see you. So that was cool. And then my brother came to me. I helped him transform his body as well. He's 14. He put on like a ridiculous amount of muscle. Went from like classic like skinny 14-year-old to like fucking 6-pack, veins everywhere, crazy.
That early too. That's fucking
Yeah, in
fire.
like 6 months. It was insane. And then the same thing with him, like the mental benefits were clear as well. So I was like, okay, like maybe like this could be something. But that was all only in the back of my head. And then I think last summer I had an internship, but I didn't know it was unpaid. So I already accepted it before I knew it was unpaid. So I was like, fuck. And then I was looking at ways to like make money online. And then I found like this Instagram copywriting thing that just didn't work out. And I got a refund on the course, so it was fine. And then I met a guy through there who introduced me to Twitter. So then I like saw like what was going on in money Twitter, but I like
From the internship?
no, from like this course online.
Oh, the online course. Okay.
while I was taking the internship.
Oh, you're taking it.
And then he was like, yo, he's on Twitter doing money Twitter. And I like was in the money Twitter affiliate marketing space for like a month or two. And I like hated it. And then I quit. And then I came back and I was like, maybe I could come back as a fitness account. So I just rebranded everything.
Okay. That's fire, dude. That's super fire. Yeah. And it sounds like you also made all the mistakes too early. So you made all the mistakes too early. So you know what your clients went through and how to fix that stuff.
100%.
That is like, those are the best coaches, because that's what they usually say, even in like soccer. So like Jose Mourinho, he sucked as a player, right?
Yeah.
But he made all these mistakes and he knew how the game worked and he saw everything. So when he was the coach, he could freaking see, he reframed, he repositioned himself. He said, oh, this is how the world is actually going to work. And then he, wins Champions Leagues and, does everything like that.
Exactly. Like there's, I think someone on Twitter said it, but he's like, you don't want your coach to have like elite genetics, like, like be super jacked, like with minimal effort. You want your coach to be like skinny as hell or fat as hell for a while and then slowly figure it out and still be like nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Because one, it's more relatable, and two, he'll be able to like connect with you on a mental and emotional level with your struggles. Someone who has amazing genetics, who's always jacked and then just became even more jacked, won't really relate. He was like, oh,
just taking roids the whole time. Doesn't understand
exactly
like your struggle. Why don't you just take roids and you're fine?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing about fitness Twitter, because it's like you go on like fitness Instagram, right? I barely am on Instagram anymore, but it's like just dudes who are like absolutely jacked, right? And they're just like posting with their shirt off every other day, right? And it's like, buy my Fit Tea supplement, which I use to get me like super jacked. And it's like, no, I use steroids. And then on Twitter, it's like these dudes like sharing their journey, sharing their struggles, and like actually providing value. It's like there's a lot of good coaches on Twitter that I've been able to connect with, and we've been like, it's a lot of good vibes too. It's easy to like connect and network. You like slide into someone's DMs, and they're like usually very open as long as you're like being genuine and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we like share tactics to grow, what works for our clients, and like we hop on spaces together. It's just a good community.
I've had exactly the same experience. These guys, it's such a good vibe. It's such a good place to be, especially right now. Even a year ago, I started this. So unfortunately, I started this like in March, or actually I started this right after I started my podcast. So it was April of 2020. Right after the lockdowns and everything is when I started in America. And so I was off and on because I also did like, I was juggling like a job. I was like pizza delivery. I was doing warehouse work for like 60 hours a week. And like, if I had a break or something, then I would go and I'd just try to tweet, and like, you'd see the great content there. And there's guys that left, there's guys that got kicked out and banned and stuff that were even like that also had great content. And it's like, even the good people, even like the people that had like funny, inspirational stuff or anything, like they're getting kicked out, but there's still so many of us, and there's still like more people growing and coming in.
100%. I think Twitter is just getting started, to be honest. Like I saw a graph where it's like the total, like, I don't know, market cap or just like total users per social media. And it was like Twitter's like near the bottom. And there's like been a couple like pretty credible sources who think that Twitter is going to be like popping in a couple years. And they're doing a lot more like new features, like with spaces, with like lists. It's very interactive. And I feel like more people are going towards Twitter, and it's becoming less of like place. I don't know, maybe like 5-10 years ago it was just like a fake news place, or like a place to
fake
just like
troll,
tweet random stuff. But now it's becoming a lot more informative, and there's like several niches and groups forming where it's like you get exactly what you want to see. Like on my timeline, there's not going to be any bullshit or drama. It's just like fitness stuff, self-improvement stuff. So that's what I want to see. So I think that's what a lot of new people coming in are realizing. And also, I think two key things with Twitter that separates it from any other platform is, one, the ease of networking, whether it's with a creator or with someone else, just very easy and very natural. And two, I think impressions per likes or per followers, it's very high. So you could be like 20 followers, have a great tweet, and it'll get a couple hundred likes, and like you can just go from there.
You can absolutely go from there. Yeah. That's one of the key things. I also think is just like, it's a good spot. It's such a good spot. Even like some of the big players in Twitter right now, like AOP. I don't know if you know Art of Purpose.
Yeah, I actually got
But
one of his courses.
yeah, you did. I did too.
Yeah.
I got one of his. He says that this place is like, he sees it in like 5-10 years. This is going to be like, it'll be like buying Bitcoin, just being in Twitter this early.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it for sure. I mean, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, and these echo chamber. Yeah, I know, right? So it was always like, for me, when I was starting, when I had Twitter, like when I was in high school and other places, like these echo chambers were so toxic, and I just hated every single second of it, like doing it and everything. And then you find these beautiful, these great freaking echo chambers, like, you know, money Twitter, like fitness Twitter, these like sales or whatever, all these different these echo chambers are actually super positive. They're all there to help you out. They're all there to, like, you know, they want like what's best for you. And it, like along the way, every single one of us is just like, you know, actualizing or getting better at what we want to be better at. Yeah.
And I think it's because on Twitter, it's like if you don't provide value, you're not going to get rewarded. Like on Instagram or TikTok, or honestly, pretty much every other social media, you can just be an attractive person and get some sort of, you know, engagement, followers, whatever. In Twitter, it's like no one gives a shit. It's like either you post tweets that are like resonate with people, provide value, or just like, yeah, enhance their lives in some way, or you don't progress. And people also see like the power of like, and like how monetizable like a 20K or even a 10K account on Twitter is compared to on any other social media platform.
Absolutely, because it's so much harder. And like you see accounts all the time with like 2,000 following and then like 23 followers, because all they do is just hate follow and just tweet garbage under people's tweets. Like there's no value to anything they try to do. It's all just like to try to get under people's skin. These are the trolls. And then you have people the opposite freaking ratio that are just, you know, providing so much value, so much light, so much like good energy. And you can just sense it even in the words that they tweet, even in just like typing. And then obviously spaces, and you know, different things like that. You can help out, like you more value.
I love spaces. I low-key think I was one of like the first people in fitness Twitter to really go in on them. I've done like probably like 35, 40 spaces by now. I think I started like when it just released. And then my first like 3 spaces, like it would be like one person listening. And then I had a space like a week ago. I hosted with PD Magnin as a guest. And he's got 130K followers. And then there was like 230 people listening. So I was like, damn, this is pretty cool.
That is hype. That is super hype. I was a little late to spaces. I saw everyone tweeting about spaces and it was pretty cool and everything. I've only been in probably, and I've never hosted one. I've only been in probably 5.
Okay. I mean, I'll happily host one with you. Like we can do that. But it's cool, man, because like like when you're like tweeting, right? It's, or even recording a video, that's like filtered, it's edited. A lot of people like they put something out and then they edit it, or like they see, oh, is this what my audience wants? So it's like, it's kind of like makeup, right? But then you like have a space and it's like completely raw, unfiltered, unedited, live, on the spot, spontaneous. Like people can request to speak, ask you questions, and you can't like, oh, give me 5 minutes, let me think of an answer. Like you have to.
It's no political. Yeah, there's no political, you know, commercials or anything.
Filtering. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, filtering and stuff like that.
So and it's a really cool way, because what I found is the people who repetitively come to my spaces tend to be the most engaged followers, and they like ask great questions. They give me testimonials without me asking. They'll just like tweet out like, yo, pull up to this space, great value as always. And it's like those are relationships that in like a year are like, not only it's like we're providing value to them, but it's like they help us out with word of mouth. And it's just, cool to know that you have people who have been following you for like months, who keep, you know, enjoying your content.
And you know they're talking about you. They have to be.
100%. Yeah, I had one dude who told me like straight up, messaged me like 5 times, like all these like positive stuff and like retweets everything. He told me like he told a lot of his friends who are trying to like build muscle or lose fat about me, and he said there's nothing that's not been positive. So like goes to show the power of word of mouth.
Absolutely, man. 100%. I 100% agree with that. So when did you start hearing about Family of Opulence, and what made you want to join that?
So Dylan Thacker, before he was in the fitness space, like reached out to me. I think he was doing web design for like, you need help with like web design or something, or like cover of your ebook. And then like he had some technical difficulties. He didn't end up working. I got some guy from Fiverr. Anyway, and then he moved to he switched niches to the fitness niche a couple months ago. And then we connected since then. Cool guy. We hopped on a Zoom, and then we do like a space every week together. Like I'll host one week, then he hosts the other one, and then I got introduced to Brandon through him. And then Brandon was asked him like, "Yo, we need another fitness instructor. Like, who do you have in mind?" And then he put me on, and that's how I joined Family of Opulence.
That is so cool, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it goes to show again, like the power of like networking, especially on Twitter. It's like you just like build a relationship with someone, and then it becomes to the point where they hear from someone else, "Yo, we're looking for a fitness guy," and you're the first person they think about. Like that's powerful.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's like actually that's super important, especially right now. If you have that kind of impact on people where you're the first person they think of, then you know you're doing something right.
Yeah, 100%.
So, do you like watching sports or anything?
Not gonna lie, I like playing sports a lot more than watching sports. I definitely like watching like big events. I like that NBA playoffs for sure, or like
Yeah.
Grand Slam tennis final, or like I don't know, some big Olympics. I'll watch, and also I got into actually fantasy football
Oh, you
like
have?
recently. So I like because I went to the college in the U.S. right, but I didn't know shit about football.
Wait, which
And
one
then
did you
like
go
all
to again?
Skidmore College, upstate New York.
Okay.
So then my whole team like plays football, watches football. So they have a fantasy league. And then I think my junior year, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Like I don't know shit about
They asked
football.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. And they would like watch it every Sunday, and I'd be like, I don't care. So I was like, kind of felt like, damn, I should have maybe done it, like learned. And
Yeah.
then my senior year, like a bunch of the alumni were still doing it, and I wanted a way to like keep in touch with them. So I was like, all right, fuck it, like I'll join the league and I'll like learn a bit about football. So it all started from
Yeah.
there.
And then you start
Like
watching all the time.
not I'm not gonna lie, not really all the time. Just I'm more into the fantasy. Like I'll check the app more than I watch the actual game.
Right.
But yeah, I guess the sport I watch the most is probably basketball and tennis, and then third would be maybe football.
Maybe football. Nice. Yeah, basketball. Almost nobody watches just the regular season anymore. My friend,
Yeah.
my old roommate did all the time and then he was like, all right, then the playoffs come and now he's a huge fanatic. He bought a jersey. He bought like Miami Heat jersey. He's got all this stuff now. But yeah, that's the same thing. Basketball is probably the most entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
I would say.
because it's like I think just the way the sport is like works. It's like you get points every like few seconds. Like in
Yeah,
soccer, it's like you get a
instant
goal every,
gratification. Yeah.
yeah. Soccer, you get a goal every like 50 minutes, right? Hour. In basketball, it's
Yeah.
like a basket every couple seconds.
And it's like a dunk, like every 5
like
minutes.
cool
Yeah.
crossovers.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lot more skills
There's
and
way
like,
more
entertaining
action.
to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously like your passion, tennis, you watch that just because of the skill, you can appreciate it and you see what exactly is people are doing right and what people are doing wrong.
Yeah. To be honest, like recently I've sort of lost like my love of the game per se, because I've been just doing it for so long, especially playing competitively. But I'll still like have a few favorite players that I like want to watch their matches. Because also like a tennis match at the same time, it's like pretty long. It can be like a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's like
And
I'm only
whatever.
really gonna like watch a match that's like a big match, like a final of a big tournament, or like from a player that I really
That you enjoy. I'm the same way with soccer. Some of my favorite players, Pogba. I watch Paul Pogba all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever I can. And then obviously Ronaldo's on the same team as Pogba now. So I have a favorite team now. And then some of the other guys, obviously America just played Jamaica in the World Cup qualifiers and they won. So now I'm kind of seeing if we can make the World Cup this year in Qatar. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then yeah, my favorite player on that team is obviously Pulisic, but he's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of players that I like. And then football, dude. Everybody, there's action. There's like extreme action on that.
Yeah.
Like football, like American football is just like, you want to see as much like gore as possible. And then of course MMA is like one of my big things that I watch.
Oh yeah, I watched a bit of MMA. I watched the Conor Khabib fight. Like recently, I thought it like no, this was not Conor Khabib. It might be Conor Dustin
Poirier.
Yeah, like a couple months ago. So I watched it at like a bar with my friend, and we pulled up at the start because we thought it would start like I don't know at 10, but it was like the last fight, right? So then we waited 2 hours for like a 10-second fight. We're like,
yeah, the one round, yeah, that was crazy. And then he breaks his leg, which was that was pretty insane.
Yeah.
His leg broke.
Tough.
So yeah, there's some crazy stuff in there. That's obviously a lot of action as well. But then there's also fights where they're just standing in front of each other, like waiting for whoever to do the first punch, and that can make it kind of boring.
True.
What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to mostly R&B and rap.
Who's your favorite artist?
Favorite artist would probably be, it's got to be Tory Lanez. Like he does both, right?
Yeah, he does both. He does both rap and R&B, but he's more on the R&B side, I would say.
Yeah, true. 100%. What about you, man?
Well, I listen to rap mostly. Probably my favorite right now is got to be, I'll give you top 3. It's got to be Jack Harlow. I'm a huge fan of Jack Harlow. And then I like Corday. I don't know if you know him. And then NF.
Heard of him. And then Nav?
NF. So he's like
NF.
It's basically just an N and then an F, like the letters. What he does.
Yeah.
But, he's probably, that's like my top 3. Corday just came out with a new song yesterday called Super. And he's basically just bragging about his Dr. Dre got signed for the Super Bowl, and like he's just making all this money and stuff. So it's about money, and that's what rap goes. So,
yeah, true.
Yeah. And then I got this over here. Is
that Drake, J. Cole, and I don't know who's on the left.
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay.
So they're they both had, so Drake and J. Cole have albums out and this year, and then Kendrick Lamar is supposed to have one out in December, I think is what he was saying, or I don't actually know, but they're all supposed to have albums out this year, which is pretty rare for all 3 of those guys. Yeah.
What do you think of Drake, Certified Lover Boy?
I gave it a second listen actually pretty recently. So I did that first listen. I tried to let it marinate. I was like, this is probably the one where he gets trashed for.
Yeah.
And then some of them actually have been making a comeback. There's about 2 or 3 that I was like, gave it a first listen. I was like, this is not gonna cut it. And then I listened to it back again. I'm like, I kind of like some of these. Fair Trade, I thought was.
Yeah, that's my favorite one for sure.
Yeah, I like that one. Too.
I think it was underrated actually, because I think pretty much 90% of people were trashing it, and then the only people who really liked it were like OG Drake fans who like anything you put out. But I actually thought it was pretty good overall. Like
I think it was
the
pretty
first
good.
listen, it was a subpar, but then as I listened to it more, it got better and better.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the ones that are growing. I think my favorite from him was the him and Jay-Z. I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna find it right now because I'm freaking out about it. Love All.
Okay.
And then I liked 7 a.m. Bridal Path. And then all the other ones are pretty good too.
For sure.
Yeah. I still kind of like J. Cole's album a little bit more. And did you hear J. Cole's Heaven EP?
Nah, man.
He put it on YouTube. And it's over one of it's over Pipe Down. It's over Pipe Down's beat.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll check it out for sure. Cause I listen to J. Cole a little bit. But
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people kind of been staying away from him lately. I found.
Really? How
Yeah,
come?
I think it's so. There was this thing with J. Cole and Kendrick. There's like a little beef, I guess, there, and then so most people are siding with Kendrick on that, and then I guess like one of the other things is J. Cole did a lot of sexual music
Okay.
in his thing. So when people hear J. Cole, they're like, oh, this was like my girlfriend listened to J. Cole all the time. She tried to show me it and I fucking hate her. So I don't want to listen to J. Cole anymore and shit like that.
Damn.
Or boyfriend or whatever. Yeah. So he's getting some, I think he's making a comeback though.
Word.
Yeah. So what else you got planned today?
Today, man, I actually have a space. It's like it's 10:50 p.m. here. I have a space at 2 a.m. The only reason I'm doing it is it's because it's with Ted Naiman, like the PE. He started like the PE guy. I think he's got 70K on Twitter. So it's like me and like I founded this group with me and 4 other dudes who are similar size, similar goals, and all that stuff. Like I've connected with them in the past, and it's not just like in Twitter. There's a lot of engagement groups, right, where it's just like you help each other out. But I wanted this to be more like where we not only just like help each other grow, but more about like discuss strategies, like collaborate on different things and stuff. So what we did is we set a weekly time where we would just like share our goals for the week, recap the last week, keep each other accountable, share what's been working, what hasn't. And then we also came up with a way to like use our collective audiences to get big dogs in the fitness Twitter space to do like spaces with us and just take turns hosting and co-hosting. That's been really cool. That's how we got PD Magnet, actually. Yeah.
Nice. And then so now you're getting the 70K followers guy as well. And then now so you're just showing that exposure. That's one of the biggest things about Twitter is the engagement. Not engagement, but just eyes on your feed,
Yeah. And also it's like if you are it's also like the psychological like phenomenon of like association. If you like constantly associate yourself with like people who your prospects think are credible or like, oh no way, then it's like that inherently raises their how credible they perceive you to be.
Absolutely. And that is like, that's key. I want people to see me in a good light. And if I'm like associating myself with people that are not, the best, favorable mindset for like their followers, then, that's going to affect me. And that's,
of course.
Yeah.
And I also I think it's also just good to like practice public speaking, right? So that was one of the reasons I started like really going ham in the spaces, because I was like, like this is a good skill to have, right? Being able to talk like where it's unfiltered, it's raw, like be able to provide value, connect with your audience. Like this will serve me in like a year's time if I do weekly spaces. It'll be a huge benefit. And then like it's a different game when you're doing a space by yourself, and there's like obviously at the start there's like one person, but like let's say I do a space by myself, it'd probably be like 10 to 15 people, right, at one time. But with these like bigger dudes, like they retweet the space so they get their whole audience. So with PD Magnet there's over 200, and that's like a whole nother level because it becomes harder to convey your thoughts in an articulate manner when PD Magnet's listening and 200 plus people are listening. So that's a whole nother, like honestly I think it went pretty well, and like I had people tell me it was good too, so that's a plus for sure. But it's definitely something that I'm constantly trying to improve on, and that's like just good for my overall public speaking and just communication skills.
Yeah, that is so key, dude. So for me, I actually started out trying to be a comedian. I was doing
really?
Yeah, I was doing
that'd be sick.
2 nights a week. There's like 2 different spots over in here in Tampa where you do like a 5-minute set. You do like 5-minute sets. They let you stay on the stage. I mean, it wasn't like 200 people or anything. It was like fucking 20, 30, sometimes 50. I mean, sometimes it was packed. And I was doing that pretty consistently until like this pandemic hit over in March, and then they closed the thing down. And So I had to like, I was like, if this is going to last a long time, which I had a feeling it was going to, I might have to like, start checking out different avenues. So that's when I started this podcast. That was another reason why I did this whole thing was, starting from scratch, but like, I think it all does come back somewhere, it comes back to what you want to do and what, if you can just, if you're used to always going, if you're used to always like putting 100% effort in, even if it seems like it's a waste, if you just have that gear that you can tap into, you're going to tackle something. You're going to tackle something that's work.
Exactly. I mean, like all these skills are like transferable. Like I'm sure you know this, like your first podcast episode was probably like 10 times worse than like your last 5, right? And it's like you get better over time, and those skills will help you in, let's say you start a new business or just your overall networking skills with other people. So it's like anytime you're building anything where you require certain high value skills, because public speaking is a high value skill, right? Like edit, like all these, there's several high value skills, but anytime you're doing any activity that requires one of those, it's going to pay off somehow.
Absolutely. 100%. So, I mean, 100, like, dude, learning how to public speak, that is just like, that's how you get the best followers. That's how you get like the most engagement. When people like come to your shows or come to your, like, come to hear you speak, that is a very good sign of confidence. That is a very good sign of credibility. That is a very good sign of just, overall like leadership skills that you need, and confidence you need just to, excel in other parts of your life.
100%. I couldn't agree more. What are some of your favorite comedians, man?
Some of my favorite comedians. I think my favorite right now is Andrew Schultz.
Dude, literally love that guy. I was about to put you on if you haven't heard of him. I think I was already watching a video of his, no joke, maybe like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, I think he is like definitely top of the line right now, and he's one of the guys that just made it right out of New York. Like he's one of the few guys in today's age, just going in from making it out of New York, and he's so big too. Obviously, Joe Rogan as a comedian, his old stuff was phenomenal. I don't know if you've heard any of his old stuff, but it was
I've heard a little bit of it, but I mostly admire Joe Rogan for his podcast.
I like his podcast.
Overall his brand. I don't associate him with a comedian. Like Andrew Schultz, Andrew Schultz is a comedian. He's mastered that. Joe Rogan, I just think of like primarily a podcaster and like secondary, like a businessman. Like
absolutely. I would put comedian as like 5th.
Yeah.
I like him as a commentator. I like him as a UFC commentator more than I like him as a comedian. Theo Vaughn, I think, is very funny.
Yeah, I've heard some of his stuff.
Yeah, his podcast is really good too. He has one with King and the Sting, and then I just look at clips now. I don't even do full podcasts anymore, just because I'm kind of busy. Well, and I like listening to music more, and I just like listening to music more when I'm working and stuff.
Yeah, I feel that.
So what do you sleep if you do spaces at 2 a.m.?
No, this is a rare occasion, man. I'm usually like set up. I don't take a call later than 11 p.m. So 11 p.m. is the latest I'll take a call. I don't take a call earlier than 8 a.m. But this is the second time I've made an exception. The PD Magnin space was at 3 a.m. So it's like, this is like whatever. Yeah. And like, it's fine because I usually go to bed at like 1 and 1:30. Like wake up at 9. So this is like not too far of a stretch. So for me, it's a trade-off. Like I'll sleep in a little bit more tomorrow. And then it's like I make this association with Ted Naiman, like improve my credibility 1%. Because like that's one of the main things I've been working on over the last couple months, and just being more intentional with my like content creation strategy. Because at the end of the day, it's like good content, you'll get leads, but like your conversion rates, I feel like that's super closely related with how credible your average lead or average prospect perceives you. And I think spaces is one of those things that helps with my credibility. I think the number one thing is probably, I hate to say it, but it's probably just the number of followers you have. Like if someone goes to your account and they see 30K, they're going to assume like he knows some shit, like he's of some value, whether that's true or not.
Yeah,
and if
it might not be
sees
true.
like 50 followers, they're going to assume you don't know shit. whether that's probably not true also, because I know some like smaller accounts putting out insane value who like don't rely on Twitter at all as a stream of income and like do stuff way outside of Twitter. And then I know dudes who are like, I don't know, like 10 plus K, but have done like some shady tactics, let's say, to get there. And their content is kind of like, it's okay. So I feel like it just depends. Like most of the time, like it is a fair assumption to make, but not all the time. And I think the second thing that impacts credibility is social proof and testimonials. So what I do is I have a document where I copy the tweet of all like my testimonials and social proof, and then I just retweet one a day. So there's like pretty much always some social proof on my timeline if some prospect was to DM me and then go through my stuff. And then third, like spaces and just like the way you like position yourself in your content. Because I feel like at the start I was like being like 100% like raw without really thinking like how's my prospect
What
gonna
do people?
perceive this.
You're right.
Exactly, because like at the end of the day, it's like you want to be genuine. You don't want to just like put on a front, but you also want to help people. And like my goal is to transform as many people as I can, and I'm not gonna do that if I'm not intentional with my content. So what I mean by that is like, let's say a few months ago, I would use like some slang words or talk exactly how I would speak, so to kind of come off in some situations as like gym bro guy.
Yeah.
And now it's more like I reread my tweets and be like, okay, how's my avatar, my target customer going to perceive this tweet? Is it going to be of value to him? Is it going to either be killing an objective, building a belief, increasing my credibility?
Yeah. Just combing over, just making sure that you are like absolutely, you understand their position and you're like, you are a trustworthy person. Like I can absolutely see where you're coming from. And like, I don't want to look like a douchebag to my customers.
100%. And also I think speaking with certainty and in some cases sensationalizing some sort of like statements. Cause like think about it, if you like tweet like, oh, I think this could be correct or this may be true. It's like someone reads that and it's like, scroll. But if you say like this is true, like this is what it is, like nothing, you know what I mean? Like even if that's not necessarily like obviously there could be exceptions.
Yeah.
But it's like if you speak with conviction and certainty, that goes a long way.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because you can read that in text. People can read that in text too. It's not even how you evoke yourself when you're talking or anything like that. You are absolutely being 100% serious in your texts. Like, just putting a bro in your tweet, they know exactly what you're talking about. They know exactly what kind of person you are.
100%.
Well, I got a full day ahead of me. Like, I know I don't want to take up too much of my time and I don't want to take up too much of your time right now, but like, I do want to bring you on again. This was absolutely super informative. You definitely know what you're talking about. And I do kind of want to get as big as you one day, man. So
appreciate it, bro. Now we're about the same level. Like we're both trying to hit way bigger things than we currently are. So we're definitely in the same sort of space. You're doing your podcast. I'm doing fitness coaching. I know you're doing other things, and that is inherently you got to realize like, okay, like you said, you have other jobs, your podcast, it's going to be harder to slowly grow on Twitter, or like it just might take a little longer. But like for me, this is like my full-time like job and everything. So I'm able to give more time and attention. But I really like where you're headed, and like it's good to see you put out like dope content and like kill it with your podcast, man.
Thanks, man. Dude, and it's so beautiful to see guys just 100% attacking what they are trying to accomplish. So, you're inspiring me as well, man, even from afar.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, I had a really dope time. This 1 hour went by super fast. We obviously talked about a bunch of topics from like serious stuff to like how to tackle obesity to like just like music and like sports and shit. So it was cool, man. Had a good time.
Absolutely, dude. Me too. Thank you. Thank you again, man. Simp to Pimp, episode 57. All right, dude.